Hey y'all, just getting started, just getting set up. This is Annette Dion. It's time for church, and we're preceding church today with a 30-minute meditation. Well, probably a little less than 30 minutes to get the energy going for peace in Ukraine and Russia. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna hit Do Not Disturb here. Hang on. Okay, I'm here. I was just putting us on Do Not Disturb. So we're going to start today. It is Sunday. It's church day. We're going to start with a meditation. So thank you for showing up early. The actual church service will start at 1 as usual. But we do need to meditate for world peace. So we're going to do that first. Once again, it's going to be, maybe 20, 25 minutes because I just want to wait until people kind of show up. So, couple of things. This morning, Sadhguru had a meditation and a little bit of a talk. If you want to look up Sadhguru, he started an initiative to save the soil of the planet so that we can continue to exist as a species. So there was a meditation, a short meditation during that. So I'm going to use some of what I got from Sadhguru's meditation. The Isha Foundation has something called Earth Buddies going right now. It's for everybody on Earth to help to save our planetary soil. Soil is filled with lots of organisms, and we're losing our topsoil at rates that will boggle your brain and might make you a little fearful. So I did join in that meditation this morning, and you can look up Isha Foundation and Sadhguru to see what their environmental and humanitarian initiatives are. They have lots of them, but the most recent is to save our topsoil so that we can still, grow food on our planet. So yes, I'm getting ready to meditate. Let's see. I wanted to read St. Michael's prayer to St. Michael. We'll start church at 1, right after we finish meditating. Hopefully people will come on as we're meditating and they'll get the gist of what's going on because I'll have my eyes closed. So let's, I'm going to grab my prayer to St. Michael. Today's church theme, February's church theme, which will start at 1, is love is who we are. And today's theme is self-love is the most important thing, or something I don't have in front of me. Self-love is all we need. I believe I titled it. Let's see. Self-love is the answer. I entitled my sermon for today. So I'm going to read our prayer to St. Michael. And then just to prep you for the meditation, what we're going to do, I kind of borrowed from Sadhguru. So we're going to spend a few moments and we're going to go, we're just going to like hum, like We're just going to hum, and I'll lead you in that. And then we'll just get quiet just for a few moments. And at the end of our meditation, which will be right just before 1, what I'm going to do is have everyone just kind of stop and then put your hands like this up to your throat. And as you're holding your hands to your throat like this, visualize world peace, visualize peace in Russia and Ukraine. Particularly, I know a couple people were like, we need to focus on other places too, but this is specific. This meditation is specific. We always all need to pray for the whole world. This is really specific today for Russia and Ukraine. So as I was saying, if you just showed up, I followed Sadhguru. He had a meditation this morning, and I'm taking some ideas from that. So let us start with a prayer to St. Michael. And I hope you all plan to stay for church. That's, from 1 to 2 Eastern time. So we'll be here, all live, all ready to join together in a spirit of love. Because that's what it's all about. Where is St. Michael? St. Michael is the archangel of law enforcement, EMTs, protection from evil. And some of you stated that you knew this prayer, which I was kind of impressed to hear. Okay. Our prayer to Saint Michael before we start our meditation. And if you just joined, we're going to start our meditation with humming for a few minutes, and then we're going to just go into meditation. We'll end with, I'll instruct you, holding your hands here and visualizing peace in Ukraine and Russia. So thank you for being here. And feel free to share if you know anyone else that would join us in our meditation. Deep breath, getting grounded and centered, all your energy and attention in this present moment. And if and when you ever get distracted during the meditation, just bring your focus to the breathing. Highly recommend, do it now. Make sure no one's going to disturb you during this time. You don't want to get startled while you're meditating. Saint Michael, the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our defense against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray, and do thou, O Prince of the heavenly hosts, by the power of God, thrust into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who prowl about the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. Okay, so eyes closed. People that join late, they'll just see that we're meditating, so that'll be good. The more, the better. Eyes closed and take some deep breaths. This is the most important moment, the present. Long, slow, deep inhalations. You can hold the breath for a few seconds, and even longer exhalations. Just slow and natural breath. And together we'll just hum. We'll do that several times, and then we'll go into silent meditation, and I'll walk you through the end after about 20 minutes. keeping your focus on the breath. We'll go into silent meditation for about 15 to 20 minutes. Peace, peace, peace. Please keep your attention focused on your breath. And at this time, if you can bring your hands up to your upper chest so your fingertips are pointing to your throat, eyes still closed. Visualize peace, particularly on the borders of Ukraine. Peaceful resolution to the threats of war. Human rights and peace prevail. Visualize people breathing a sigh of relief and forces of evil conquered, nullified. Weapons rendered useless, and no war. Peace. See people happy, loving, joyful, and peaceful. And as we visualize together, so it is. You can bring your hands down at your own pace when you feel ready. Just open your eyes and we will be starting our church service in just a few minutes. So you can get a drink of water, grab some tea, take some time bringing yourself back to the room, and make sure that if you're staying with us, and I hope that you are for Church of Spirituality, just make sure that you're not disturbed. We deserve to give ourselves time. It's important to give ourselves time for just, at least 1 hour a week of quiet and spiritual reflection. Okay, so it's about 3 minutes to 1 Eastern time, and we'll get started at 1. And I will play some instrumental music as we're waiting for people to show up for church. Like my mug. It says, "You are enough." And this is from, I believe this company, it makes Course in Miracles products. So you are enough. It's a good message for today. God made you perfect, whole, and complete. And flawless. Okay, how about some instrumental music? Let's see. That's called Oh Blessed Spring, but it goes by different names too. Welcome, I believe it's 1 o'clock. Welcome to Church of Spirituality. I'm Annette Dion. I am your minister, the founder of Church of Spirituality, and your friend. Your spiritual friend. And thank you, spiritual friends, for being here. As you can see, it's a very special time of year where we celebrate love. I put a little time into my little display. So I hope you enjoyed it. And I lit my love candle, and I have my You Are Enough mug, so we're good to go. I'm sure others will join shortly too. It's just after 1. Happy Super Bowl day. Let's send lots of light and love to LA for a safe and enjoyable Super Bowl with no violence, only peace, and only, good times, because, sports is supposed to be fun. And an opportunity to get together with family and loved ones, and hopefully the pandemic has lifted a bit and we can appreciate that. Thousands of rose petals on the border of Ukraine and Russia. Well, maybe that's us. Yesterday, just on that note, I had mentioned before we meditated last night that I was kind of talking to the angels, and I said, we need angels. And they said, you are the angels. Seriously. We're it. They need to channel through us. So we're it. We're doing good work. So let's just keep doing it. We'll do more meditations too for peace in that area. Putin may strike, and hopefully it'll just be one and done, and he's done. So we'll visualize it. If anything happens, it's very short and no lives are lost. Our theme for February is Love is Who We Are, and our sermon today is Self-Love is the Answer. You've heard it said love is the answer. Well, self-love is the answer. If the messages you received today are helpful and uplifting to you, please consider inviting someone to tune in with you. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you if you have. Oh, you did? Cool. Share this video, and just know we meet every Sunday, 1 p.m., now live. I used to pre-recorded, but now it's live, 1 p.m. every single Sunday Eastern time. So we will have a time of centering meditation along with a guided prayer. So if you'd like to put your prayer requests up, you can go ahead and post them in the comments. I just want you all to know that I do everything on my little phone, which works best for me. So I may not see it, but there are others that will see it. And we're all praying. We always pray for our country, the United States, and for the world. If you're joining us from other countries, we're praying for all. And so you can share your prayer needs. I want to start with a reading of our mission statement. So we're not affiliated with any church. I have grown this church online out of a really intense need that I feel has been out there for a long time, for people to gather together in fellowship and knowing we are all spiritual beings. We're all here to help each other, to express who we are, to make the world a more happy, joyous, and peaceful place. And so I didn't see it around anywhere, so I said, I guess maybe I need to start it, right? it's, food for thought. If something's missing, maybe you're the one to do it. We believe we are all connected to divine intelligence, continually moving through all of life and through all living things. We remember to always align ourselves with this divine presence to create healing miracles in our own lives, positively affecting the lives of all those we come into contact with, seen and unseen. We believe that the kingdom of heaven resides within each one of us, and we believe that love is all there is. We know and acknowledge that we are one. So I also want to say that I write a program every single week, and I would like to offer the program to you if you'd like to receive a copy. I'm going to figure out a more organized way to do this, but if you'd like to receive a copy each week, I will be starting a mailing list, and I'll just send it off to you each week. Just send an email to AnnetteDion7@gmail.com, and I'll be sure and send you a copy of the program before or after, either way. But I am going to start a mailing list and do that regularly, just with one push of a button. We're going to go to our healing chants, and these are chants that were kind of delivered to me that we say every week, and they're really helpful to take you into your week. Love to all of you. Okay, so they go like this. The first one is all is well. Times. All is well, all is well, all is well. Again, all is well, all is well, all is well. One more time. All is well. All is well. No matter what's going on, we can always sing all is well, because there's going to be some aspect of it that's well. Everything is in divine perfect order and divine right timing, and so it is. Our next chant is about forgiveness. I always like to remind everybody that we do not forgive in order to condone. We forgive in order to be free, in order to set ourselves free energetically, okay? Has nothing to do with approving of bad behavior or saying that it's okay. So we start with I, and then we'll go to we. I forgive everyone, I forgive everyone, I forgive everyone, I forgive everyone, forgive everyone, and with God's help, forgive everyone, especially myself. And we're going to forgive everyone now. We forgive everyone, we forgive everyone, forgive everyone, we forgive everyone, we forgive everyone, and with God's help, we forgive everyone, especially ourselves. We forgive everyone, we forgive everyone, we forgive everyone, forgive everyone, we forgive everyone. With God's help, we forgive everyone, especially ourselves. Okay, so I just got an idea. Here's my idea. You know, these things come in a flash. We're going to say, we love everyone now, because it's almost Valentine's Day. We love everyone, 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 and with God's help, we love everyone, especially ourselves. Okay, you guys, you're reading the chat, right? Because I know some people are putting up their prayer requests, so I want to ask everyone to get involved in that. The last one is to keep us centered in divine right timing, and knowing that divine right timing is all there is, always. And so it's called I Move at God's Pace. And whenever you feel frantic and like maybe you're not measuring up, or maybe you're feeling like instead of you are enough, maybe sometimes you're feeling like you're not enough and you're not going fast enough and you're not doing enough, this is really useful, okay? I promise. Works for me. I move at God's pace and I receive God's guidance. God provides abundantly. I have no fear at all. Then we move at God's pace and we receive God's guidance. God provides abundantly. We have no fear at all. One more time. We move at God's pace and we receive God's guidance. God provides abundantly. We have no fear at all. All right. We move at God's pace. We receive God's guidance. God provides abundantly, even peace. We have no fear at all. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. Ukrainian Easter eggs. Yeah, I always think of the Ukrainian bell carol. You know, that beautiful tune that we play every Christmas. So now we're going into our prayer time. So if you were with us for the meditation time, you can easily just meld back into that mode. So we're going to close our eyes, and I'll guide you through the prayer. Once again, take some deep breaths. Get centered, undisturbed. We are one in spirit. We co-create with God. We lift our prayers up to the light, expanding loving thoughts. We are one in spirit. We co-create with God. We lift our prayers up to the light, expanding loving thoughts. Be still and know that I am God. Eyes closed. Feeling very centered. Keeping your focus on the breath. As we pray, dear God, we thank you for this fellowship, for all those who are watching live or watching this recording. We thank you for the love that connects us all. We thank you for the growing consciousness of light and the dispelling of darkness. Dear God, we understand that when there is darkness, we feel the need for light, and we become agents of the light, and we know that you guide us. Give us faith and trust and assurance that you are with us, that there is no challenge that you cannot meet. There is no hatred that love cannot conquer. and that love is all there is, and love is all that we are. Right now, dear Lord, assist us as we tap into the consciousness of the field of energy within and around us, as we send out vibrations, signals of peace and of love, strength and well-being. And we know that our intentions of healing are powerful and amplified when we align with you in the stillness, and we thank you for this gift. We ask that you awaken humanity as a whole to the consciousness of love. Please help the people in Ukraine and the surrounding areas who are facing the threat of war. Dear Lord, please bring peace. World leaders, wake up to the awareness that war is never the answer, that war does not make things better for them. We visualize them laying down their arms, pulling back, and giving up, and surrendering, realizing that love and light are too big and too great for them to continue evil. We call in all the ascended masters, including the energy of the Christ, to put an end to all wars, to make us agents of peace and love, courageously paving the way for now and future generations to live in harmony with the earth, with human rights, respect and dignity for all. We ask, dear Lord, that you help us to guide the children. Help us to heal their anxiety and our fears. We also ask for a remedy for the situation in Canada, where people are rebelling and threatening violence. Please dissipate this, dear Lord. All those in positions of planning violence and destruction are stopped. They simply see it's not worth it. And this is no longer the way. Violence and disruption are no longer the way. We ask for a healing of those souls that are filled with hatred. We ask for an end to false information that produces violence. All those in positions of leadership who are not working for the interest and the common good of the people to be unseated. Show us that love prevails. And be with us as we take strong stands for love and healing, nothing less. As we see that the darkness has reminded us of light, we stand in faith, the light is stronger. We see an end to global pandemics. We see people coming together in harmony and peace. And we give thanks for this beautiful vision of peace. As we release this prayer to the divine law of all good, amen. And so it is. And there's our prayer. It feels good to pray. It always feels good to pray. Wow, it's already time for the first reading. That happened fast. I think I'm in a time warp. Our first reading, since our topic today is on self-love is the answer, I took a very famous quote from the godmother of the self-help and spiritual movement, who's no longer with us on the physical plane. She died in her 90s and she was still teaching. Louise Hay. If you're not familiar with Louise Hay, most people that I encounter are familiar with Louise Hay. She has a publishing company called Hay House Publications also, with some wonderful, wonderful spiritual books and metaphysical books. And this is from You Can Heal Your Life, which is her most famous book. And it goes like this. So take some deep breaths and let's take it in. I actually have this written on a poster on my wall that I've had for decades. Deep at the center of my being, there is an infinite well of love. I now allow this love to flow to the surface. It fills my heart, my body, my consciousness, my very being, and radiates out from me in all directions and returns to me multiplied. The more love I use and give, the more I have to give. The supply is endless. The use of love makes me feel good. It is an expression of my inner joy. I love myself, therefore I take loving care of my body. I lovingly feed it nourishing foods and beverages. I lovingly groom it and dress it, and my body lovingly responds to me with vibrant health and energy. I love myself, therefore I provide for myself a comfortable home, one that fills all of my needs and is a pleasure to be in. I fill the rooms with the vibration of love so that all who enter, myself included, will feel this love and be nourished by it. I love myself, therefore I work at a job that I truly enjoy doing, one that uses my creative talents and abilities, working with and for people that I love and that love me, and earning a good income. I love myself, therefore I behave and think in a loving way to all people, for I know that that which I give out returns to me multiplied. I only attract loving people in my world, for they are a mirror of what I am. I love myself, therefore I forgive and totally release the past and all past experiences, and I am free. I love myself, therefore I love totally in the now, experiencing each moment as good, and knowing that my future is bright and joyous and secure. For I am a beloved child of the universe, and the universe lovingly takes care of me now and forevermore. And so it is. If you say that every day, your life will change. And if you buy the book, You Can Heal Your Life, which has been out since, gosh, at least the early 90s, you will find that. Deep at the center of my being, there is an infinite well of love. That's how it begins. Now, it's time for our first musical selection, which I did select, but silly me, I didn't write the page. I'll find it. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, so I chose this one for our first musical selection, and it's called Jesus Draw Me Close. from James 4, verse 8. I just realized it was from the Bible. Jesus, draw me close. I picked that one because we're talking about self-love, and with drawing the Christ, the divine, close to you is kind of like going within and feeling it, within you and around you. For our next reading, we have on the theme of love. And if you have read the Bible, we pull from all sources here, but this is a famous one, and you may have heard it at a wedding. 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 through 13. Love is patient. Before I continue, I want to say, if you can reflect on these words, and rather than thinking of them like as being patient and loving for going outward, just to switch it up a little bit, think of love as patient, like self-love, being patient with self. So just think, just check it out. Try it from that perspective. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. The greatest of these is love. So powerful. It just hit me. It just hit me. The greatest of these is love. For our second musical selection, as I pull myself together, you might know this one. And if you know it, sing it. This is called The Greatest Love of All. That Whitney Houston sang. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Everybody searching for an hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone who fulfilled my needs. A lonely place to be. love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. Anybody know the words to that? That's an oldie, but it's a goodie. Yeah, it's the most powerful force in all the universe. You may have heard it said. Love still is the most powerful force in all the universe, and it's the greatest force that there is. Thank you. I chose self-love as the topic because I really feel, and I know this in my heart, and I really, really feel the words are really about the greatest love, that there is, comes from us. I really and truly feel like 90% of our problems as people really have a basis in not loving the self. And so many people, myself included, we're all in on this. I feel like as souls, we come in, with the only imperfection being our kind of like resistance to loving ourselves. And then that's kind of perpetuated, from childhood with, you may have heard it if you've studied parenting. I'm not a parent, but I know a lot of parents have learned that when a child does something that's not right, not to punish the child, or not to point out the child as being bad. Just correct the behavior, but don't make the child feel like that they're wrong or they're bad. The child is getting their sense of self-worth literally from what happens, what's spoken to them and how they're treated. So, and every one of us can relate to being a child and doing something that grown-ups didn't appreciate, and being yelled at and feeling shame and feeling guilt. And feeling, worst of all, feeling like I am a mistake, I'm bad, there's something wrong with me. Children can end up feeling like it would be better if I wasn't here, that they're the source of all the problems, and it's right to them, because children grow up with what we call a healthy narcissism, which is a stage of development. And that healthy narcissism is the child basing all of what they feel on what comes at them from the outside world. So in its distorted, sick state, in the adult person, narcissism is too much of, it's all about me, it's all about me, it's all about me. A child, however, develops, I'm probably telling you something I'm sure that you already know. A child develops its sense of self and how to survive in the world based on his or her, the treatment that he or she receives from the adults around them. So the basis of self-loathing and self-hatred largely comes from being treated as though you're wrong. For some people, being neglected, being abandoned, being shamed, being abused, and there's all types of forms of abuse that happen, some verbal, some sexual, some, just all kinds of things, emotional. And every one of us has something that happened when we were young. A lot of religions, I don't have to point to any in particular, a lot of religions became religions, which I understand people's aversion to the word church. I'm really working hard to redefine that. Religions for thousands upon thousands of years, many religions retained their power and sense of, just being able to exist, and their power and their all, all governing ways through, for lack of a better word, intimidation. If you tell somebody you need me and you cannot live without me, and your only way to Jesus is through me, and you get somebody in a fearful state, what ends up happening is that person will feel like they have to submit to you, or else they'll go to hell, or else dire things will happen. So I'm just pointing to how we get to self-loathing and self-hatred. It's taught to us. Like Louise Hay mentions in her book, You Can Heal Your Life, when babies are born, babies, they poop, they giggle, they do all these, they cry, they act obnoxious, and little babies just do what little babies do. We don't come in with a sense of, we're bad. We don't come in with that. We come in with a knowing that we're babies. We took the long journey as souls to come in here and to be in this human form, and we come in to express. We don't come in hating ourselves. That's behavior and belief that's taught to us. And you can trace it in your own life, and you can see. I always tell people, in my counseling that if somebody's being hateful and abusive, it's really important, if you're the victim of that, if you're on the receiving end of that, it's really important to understand that I always say hurt people hurt people. And if we can depersonalize it, if we can kind of take ourselves out of the picture, and I always recommend taking a step back, if we can do that and consider the source of that vitriol and that hatred and that negativity, it's not being caused by you 99% of the time, unless you know that you instigated it. It's not being caused by you. It's coming from somebody who's very maybe self-hateful, maybe in self-loathing, maybe in incredible amounts of fear. And the only way that we can hold fast and strong is through overwhelming, just an abundance of self-love and self-acceptance, and knowing that love is who we are. And I had a saying that I wrote one time, and I hung it on my wall, and I want to share it with you. You are the beloved child of a loving universe that can only support you. Learn to live with it. You are the child of a divine, loving universe. You're the beloved child of a divine, loving universe that can only support you. Learn to live with it. If the number one thing that we get in this lifetime is we're here to be love and to share that love, to bring it to a point where, we've really worked on it and we can just be it. And when I say work on it, I mean, the translation is the working on, I forgive myself for my mistakes. We all make mistakes. Some people come in with the, parents that just want them to be perfect and want them to do it all their way. And a lot of that is out of fear. Don't want their child to be an artist because, oh my goodness, artists can't make any money. Don't want their child to self-express in theater. And I'm picking on the arts because, the artists really got to be strong to be an artist, You have to do what's secure. You have to do what's secure. You have to do what's secure. And a lot of parents don't have the equipment. They don't have the tools to give the child acceptance for who they are. And wanting the child to be perfect is an unrealistic expectation. And wanting the child to do everything that the parent wants the child to do is not acknowledging that every soul comes in with an individual purpose that's as unique as our own fingerprints. And we wonder why people, I don't know, maybe you don't wonder, but a lot of people wonder why are so many people depressed. A lot of people are trying to live up to this false ideal of perfection and are always measuring and always judging themselves against what's the right way to do it and how to conform and how to be accepted. And when, if by the grace of God, a person came onto the planet, and I believe that Jesus did, that just already knew and embodied self-love, then they'd never get hooked in. They'd never get hooked in because, we used to say in the religious science church I belonged to in Nashville, if you spot it, you got it. If somebody's being mean to you and you get triggered, then there's likely a self-meanness. If we give up judging and assessing ourselves and criticizing ourselves, this Valentine's Day, let's do it. Let's give up judging ourselves. Let's give up assessing ourselves. I mean, we know when we can do better. We can just do better. We don't have to beat ourselves over the head, right? Give up self-criticism. If you were brought up in a critical environment where there was only, where a parent was like my way or the highway, then you're probably going to have a sense of have to, and judging and assessing that will drive you bananas. I'm telling you, it's we all know this, right? A perfectionist never sees perfection because perfection is a false premise. Perfection doesn't exist. Self-love and giving ourselves a break, and I'm not talking about being all about you. I'm talking about self-love, like treating ourselves like we are in a sense of reverence and awe for this amazing life that the higher power created. How did this all happen? Every one of every human on the planet has the potential to be in awe of this thing called life that's expressing through us. I believe we get into self-hatred and self-loathing when we are striving to be something that doesn't feel right. And then we start to hate that we're succumbing to what everybody else said that we should do and who we should be. There are many children that are born into this world with a very unique gift and talent and life purpose. Everyone is unique in their gifts and talents and life purpose. I happen to believe that for some people, their purpose is to do kind of the conventional, conforming thing. There's nothing wrong with that. And that still doesn't lead to self-love, because the only thing that leads to self-love is touching that from within. So some people come in to be more of a conformist role. As long as they're in self-love, that's beautiful, that's wonderful. Some people come in, thank God, to change things up, because we cannot stay the same in our society, and we must support that. And I'm going to just give a shout out to educational systems like Montessori and any educational system that's set up for children so that they're allowed to teach themselves. When somebody knows that they're able to express from within, and that what they're expressing from within is good, feels good, and because if somebody feels good, it benefits others. If somebody's coming from that place, that's empowerment. There's lower risk for depression, way exponentially lower risk for depression if somebody wants to express who they are and it is supported and people encourage it. And you know, I don't have to say, we're not talking about hateful, awful behavior. We're talking about somebody who wants to be who they are. In our country right now, in the United States and in many other places in the world, there's a segment of the population that is wanting to shut down children and, high schoolers for being who they are. There's nothing more heinous and unspiritual as that I can think of at the moment. Suppression, it leads to depression. And we suppress ourselves when we hate ourselves. And hatred, self-hatred is taught. For a short moment yesterday, I came across one of those short videos on YouTube. They're about, 1 minute. And I thought it was the most tragic thing. I saw a short video of a girl who was probably 15 years old in a really string bikini holding her arms up and her rib cage was showing. And that's all the video was. And all those Instagram algorithms that lure girls into the skinny, skinny, skinny diet. We have an epidemic of depression in this country. And it starts there. It starts with people actually growing up believing that they have to be this certain way and this certain weight on the scale and this certain look and this certain, you know, conform here and conform there and, you know, don't be gay and, you know, don't be this, don't be that. This is the only way to be. And we wonder, or maybe we don't, but a lot of people are asking the question, why is everybody so depressed and full of anxiety and fear? And I spoke to this last week. I apologize, last week's video did not come out very well. It had lots of technical issues that I have since fixed. But I was speaking to that that fear that stops us. That, you know, being in paralysis because we're afraid that we won't get it right and we're afraid that we won't be accepted. But look at what are we measuring ourselves against? I'm here to tell you that when we decide to give up our fear and to trust ourselves, when we decide to give up our fear of being who we are and expressing who we are, and if you forgot what that is, and if you've forgotten what, you know, like what your purpose is, and, you know, if you think you don't have a purpose, there's no such thing as not having a purpose. You know, when you know something that you just really, really know for sure, everybody incarnated for a purpose. We are all here for something. If you lose sight of what that is, let me just give you some suggestions. If you can think back to early on in life, what you love to do. Maybe for you, it was like for me, I remember there was a toy piano in the house. I have siblings, and so a younger sibling had a toy piano. And I literally went clink, clink, clink. Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm home. You'll remember, things will come to you. Were you the kind of person that loved to be out alone in nature? Well, there's some component of that is part of your purpose. I recommend that for everyone. When we're not expressing, when we're not self-expressing, when we're not in that self-love that comes from self-expression, we are at risk for feeling hopeless. We're at high risk for depression. We're at really high risk for anxiety. And we must come to a place where we know that we can be courageous enough and stand up and step out in being who we are fearlessly. And if we need support, we have to ask for support. And the support is out there. It's even here in this fellowship. Self-love is the most important thing. Self-love makes us more inclusive, because when we're feeling loving and we're feeling good and we're feeling happy and we're feeling strong, the tendency to want to stay in and cower in a corner and just isolate is way, way, way removed. And when we're self-loving, then we can be truly contributions to the world around us, because people will delight in your presence. They won't even know why. I had the experience just being an intuitive, and I'm sure that you have had this experience of meeting somebody that seemed perfectly fine and having an inner feeling of like, gosh, I just feel like I'm not, I don't know if it's like I don't like this person. I just don't feel, I feel kind of uneasy around this person, and there's nothing evident. And then feeling a little bad about it. Why do I feel bad? You know, like, why do I feel this? And I just want to tell you that oftentimes you're literally picking up on their own self-loathing, and it's very sad. We're here to be agents of peace. We're here to be agents of the light. We're here to be agents of love. And if you think for 1 microsecond that that's not the most important thing on the planet at this time, when we literally stand at the precipice of the potential to annihilate this planet through a nuclear war, if you think love is not important, I beg you to think again. And we are all broadcasting. I've seen lots of science that's proving that not only are we electrical beings inward, but we have an electrical, and the internet is a perfect demonstration of this. We are electrical, like signal beacons. We're sending out signals constantly. If you don't know this, look up the science. It's really big stuff. And as much as we might complain about technology, technology is the tool that's enabling us to be this one mind, to be this one organism. Let us all be the healthy, loving cells that we need to be of this giant organism called planet Earth. Now's the time. Now's the time for us to love ourselves. Can't believe I just started to burst into tears when I said the greatest of these is love in the reading from the book of Corinthians. It's really powerful stuff, and it will bowl you over. And I have seen people that have been so mean to themselves for so many years, when finally just given permission, love yourself. And Louise Hay experienced this again and again when she was teaching people, AIDS patients in the 80s, to look into the mirror and to say, I love you. She learned how difficult that is because they would just burst into tears. We got to break through it. We got to break through the self-hatred. We cannot make a difference in the world if we hate ourselves. So let's join in the party. Let's join in the self-love party, okay? That's what I have for you today. And we'll keep on talking about it too. And if you're an artist, create. And if you're a mathematician, add up numbers, or whatever it is. But we need to heal this world with love, and we're on our way. We will always keep the faith, and we'll always practice. Thank you. So now we're going to go to the next part of our program. Since I haven't set up a Patreon thing or anything, 100% of the donations that come to Church of Spirituality go to a charity. I just want to encourage you this week to go to the Isha Foundation, ISHA Foundation, that's Sadhguru's organization, and support the topsoil initiative. A lot of people don't know we are losing our topsoil on this planet. Topsoil is filled with organisms, live things that we need in order to survive. We're literally made of the soil. So please go to the Isha Foundation and join up to be an Earth Buddy. And we're teaching people about how we need to save our topsoil. So we're looking at that this week as a place to donate. And we'll set up the Patreon eventually. Maybe next week. We're going to end with a prayer of thanksgiving and then a reading from The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. We usually do a reading from Ernest Holmes. This one we do every week. Okay, so our prayer of thanksgiving. Dear God, thank you for making us more aware of what we have that we can give to others to make a difference in this troubled world. Please help us to look deeply into our hearts to see that we can give more of our tithes, talents, and time. Grant us the inspiration to be a generous people, and thank you for the bounty which we receive. Our closing reading is from The Science of Mind, as I said, and just take a deep breath and we'll read through this. Through the long night watches, God's hand clasps ours. At the break of dawn, God's hand clasps ours. In the daytime of work and endeavor, from eternity to eternity, God's hand clasps ours. When time shall have passed, when eternity shall be strewn about like falling petals, and space and worlds shall be swallowed up in everlasting blessedness, God's hand shall clasp ours, and so it is. I will be starting a prayer group soon. I believe it's going to be on Tuesdays. Any correspondence sent to AnnetteDion7@gmail.com. Another announcement is I have started up an organization called Grassroots of Democracy to join. This is an initiative to get our communications to organizations that need to be communicated to. And, you know, if you watch PNN, my channel here, you will know more about that. We have meetings every Thursday night from 7 to 8 to save our democracy. So send an email to grassrootsofdemocracy@gmail.com and just write AYE in the subject line if you're in the States and you want to help with that. And any correspondence to me personally, AnnetteDion7@gmail.com. And enjoy the Super Bowl and happy Valentine's Day. If you don't have a partner, it doesn't matter. It's Love Day. So thank you. Go in peace, be peace, and we'll continue to pray for peace. And namaste. See you soon. Thank you. Bye.